So what I'm going to be talking about today is where I see the economy. And for the sake of this, broadcast, let's call it just December 1st, 2010. And as you may have noticed, gold today is flirting in U.S. dollars between $1,300 and $1,400. The reason gold is up there is very simply, as I wrote about in Conspiracy of the Rich, about the Federal Reserve Bank and how the rich control the monetary systems, is very simply because we have a thing called QE2, Quantitative Easing 2. It's actually a Quantitative Easing 3, but they don't count the ones I count. Quantitative easing is a very simple way of saying we're printing money. This way the Fed, if this is the Fed, goes to the U.S. Treasury and simply buys bonds. That's all they do. That's how they get money into the system. So the more quantitative easing or printing money they do is you'll see gold going to $1,300 and $1,400. Now, for those of you who have read my books, you know that I said gold wasn't really the play. The real play was silver. So I started buying silver when it was less than $3 an ounce, and I heard today it broke $28 an ounce. So all that is saying is that the more of this junk they print, the more expensive real money gets. And I know there's a lot of people out there who think gold and silver are not real money, but generally they're academians, or like Ben Bernanke, who's a professor from Princeton and all this. They really don't understand real hardcore street smart economics here. So my prediction is with QE2 hitting 1,300 to 1,400 and silver hitting 28, it's probably going to go up. So those who are holding cash will be the biggest losers, because as long as they have QE2, the dollar, the yen, or the euro is going to go down. So that's why for years I've said savers are losers. They're holding this stuff, which is getting worth less and less out there. So that's my way of saying, since Conspiracy of the Rich, which came out in 2008, nothing's really changed. It's just getting worse or better if you understand unfair advantage. It's really getting great. I have never made so much money, but the difference is I'm not going for dollars, I'm going for debt. And it is so opposite of the way that people think. Most of these morons are trying to get out of debt, and guys like me are trying to get into debt because basically there's no tax on it. It's tax-free money. So for people to become wealthy, the reason you want to be a rich dad insider is really to change the way your brain has been wired up. I think most people have told you, get out of debt, and rich dad is saying get into debt, but good debt, debt that makes you rich. And I know I can hear someone say, well, I don't have any money. Well, complaining about it, what makes you think you're going to have any money anyway? So that's why you have to keep educating yourself, surrounding yourself with friends who kick your butt. If you hang out with a bunch of losers, then you become a loser too. So that's why it is crucial that you get educated, but so do your friends and family, because I'm saying this much, it's not getting better. It's going to get worse. And the reason it's going to get worse pretty accurately is I'll use green for this color, because Ireland just the other day had a $115 billion bailout. And they don't know if it's going to work. That means that's another way of saying QE 10, Ireland is not a very big country, and they bailed them out to $115 billion. And what they're afraid of is if Ireland goes, then France is going to go, not France, but Portugal goes next, Spain goes next, and if that happens, the U.S. goes down too. England goes down too. So they're doing their best right now with Ireland to try and stop the spread. But the problem is Ireland is in very bad shape, Portugal is in terrible shape, and so is Spain. If those three European Union countries go, England is going to go and the U.S. is going to go, because the EU, where the euro is, not the dollar, is the biggest trading partner of the U.S. and England, bigger than China and Japan. So the reason everybody's terrified right now, and this is where we are today, is they're hoping that quantitative easing 2 or 3 or 4, what they call it, will save the day. I don't think it will. The problem is very simply because, and it doesn't make a difference which country it is. For those of you who have read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you know there's assets and liabilities. The problem with Ireland is they have all liabilities, no assets. They don't have very many assets except for some sheep and some whiskey. Or some Irish whiskey. That's about all they've got. And this debt is so high, they can't pay for it. The debt of Ireland is no different than the U.S. I mean, Americans are very, very smug and arrogant, but Americans say, well, the Irish are stupid, the Americans are smart. Well, that's not true, because American debt right now, if this was the U.S., the American balance sheet is $70 trillion in debt. $70 trillion. You know how much money there is in the world? In the total world. Yen, euro, peso, francs, pounds. There's only 60 trillion in money throughout the world. The U.S. debt on its balance sheet, what it owes in Social Security, pensions, Medicare, and this new Obama health care plan, is so big. And the question I have to ask you, if it's getting better, this should be going down. Now, if you think it's going to go down, then you save dollars, yen, pesos, or euro. Personally, I think with our government, the U.S. government, we're so screwed up. Democrats are fighting with Republicans and Catholics shooting Protestants and all that going up. This can only go up. And the more that goes up, then the U.S. is going to try QE10 next. And what that means, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, is a question you have to ask yourself, well, what is this going to do? And what is this going to do? If the U.S. keeps printing, the European Union keeps printing, like they just bailed out Ireland, Japan is in trouble, China just raised interest rates. When you look at all that, you have to say, well, what is gold going to do and what is silver going to do? And I'm not saying gold and silver are the answers. What I'm saying is the reason you want to educate your brain and your friends is an unfair advantage and the conspiracy of the rich. I'm not really playing this game here. What I'm playing is knowledge. Because as I said in Conspiracy of the Rich, knowledge is the new money. So you come to Rich Dad, I'm glad you're part of the insiders, is you want the knowledge to know what to do. So what's happening is most of the, I shouldn't laugh, but most of the savers are saving money when they're printing money. Do you know how stupid that is? I mean, do you know how stupid that is? You have any idea? And all of these pundits are saying, get out of debt and save money. And what Rich Dad is saying is get into debt and don't save money. And if you save anything, save gold and save silver. I have a lot of gold, but I bought it at $275 an ounce. And I have a lot of silver, but I bought it at $3 an ounce. There's a very big difference on knowledge. It is that knowledge is the real money. There's a knowledge that makes you rich. So basically, that's what I see going on. I know Mr. Obama says the world's getting better. Merkel says the world's getting better. Cameron of England says it's all getting better. But let me tell you, when you bail out Ireland to $115 billion, that's massive QE, quantitative easing, printing money. Trust me, if they don't stop the contagion at Ireland, then Portugal, Spain will go, but so will France, England, Germany. It's gone. At that point, you will see gold and silver go out of sight, but people like me who are not saving dollars will be the winners. I will be in debt up to my eyeballs, but I'll be paying it off with cheap dollars. So watch for this book. It's called Unfair Advantage. Comes out next March. Be online as well as in print form. But this is Rich Dad, Poor Dad Advanced. I don't think this is going to go away. If you think $115 billion is going to save Ireland, Portugal, and Spain, and the U.S. with its $70 trillion debt problem, then you're probably smoking weed or something out there and medical marijuana. But that's not what's going to happen, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but I don't think this is going to go away for the U.S. I don't think it's going to go away for Ireland because they don't have any production. They don't have any assets. And there's no difference between Ireland or the U.S. The question is you. How many assets do you have, and how much in liabilities do you have? I have lots and lots of assets balanced by debt. So my assets pay off my debt. That's rich dad, poor dad. So this is the advanced version. It's up to you. Keep getting educated. Keep expanding your mind. And don't hang out with losers. And thank you for being part of Rich Dad's Insiders.